All right. Hi, students. Okay, so you are required to submit your paper with proper MLA formatting and citations if citations are relevant. Um, so I know some of you are probably rather familiar with MLA. You may have learned about it in high school and had to turn in your papers in that formatting in high school. Others of you may not be familiar at all. Um, so I'm doing a very, very brief tutorial right here of the basics of MLA formatting, very basics. I'm not going to go much into citations, um, but I will show you where you can go if you need some help figuring out how to do citations, all right? And here, that's why we're here on the Blackboard website. Right now I am in syllabus and course documents / resources, and as you can see, there's this link right here called MLA Help. So I have a website listed here. This is the Purdue um, Writing Center's online website. Let me take you over there. The link takes you right here to this page, their MLA style introduction. And this is a really, really helpful page. This is one of my favorite resources on the internet. This is where I always send students to go if they need help with MLA. Because you'll see over here on the sidebar, they have an introduction, overview, and workshop, and then they have some MLA formatting and style guides. So this first link here, this is the general format of MLA. It walks you all through it, shows you how the paper is supposed to look and be formatted. And then over here, they have all sorts of about doing citations. So how to do in-text citations, how to make a works cited page, and then all sorts of books, periodicals, different types of citations that you might need help with and how to format them. So if you don't have an actual MLA handbook or any sort of handbook, this is the online website I recommend that you go to. Now, I'm also sure that some of you have used like citation machine or website generators before that generate you type in all the information in those different fields and it generates a citation for you in MLA. If you use those, they're fine. They're okay, but I recommend that you double check them and make sure they're correct because they are not always correct. Okay, so you're on the hook if you use those. But like I said, what I want to walk you through right now, and some of you may be very comfortable and familiar with this already, but others of you I guarantee will not be. I want to walk you through how to actually set up and format a paper. And since most of you, well actually, okay, I don't know if most of you are, at least some of you I know will be working with Microsoft 360, the online version of Microsoft Word, so that's what I'm going to show you as far as how to set all of this up. If you have a desktop version of Microsoft Word or any other version of it, this will probably be similar enough, but it will also be helpful for you. So, right, we open up a brand new blank document. Let's give it a second. And when Word opens a new blank document, it usually opens with some default settings that you will need to fix or change. Because they are not default settings for MLA. And I'm not sure why this is taking so long. Come on, Microsoft, you can do it. Come on. Okay, if it won't show me here, I'll just move to my desktop Word, which will be less helpful. No, let's try again. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. All right. So the very first standard setting that I recommend changing is, this is personal preference. This is not something that you'll be graded on or scored on wherever. I recommend changing the font type and size. My personal preference is Times New Roman and 12-point font. I always change it to that. I recommend you do too, but you won't lose points if you use something else, as long as it's a nice, even, legible font, all right? Okay, the next set of settings that you will want to change for MLA are going to be in paragraph. So if you come over here, this little button right here where it says paragraph options, you're going to want to click that. Okay, And this is what you're going to want to change over here on spacing. Right now, they have it set up to do an extra 8-point font space in between paragraphs. That's not MLA formatting. That's bad. So you want to move this down to 0 so that there's zero extra space in between your paragraphs. Then you want to change this from multiple to double. You want double spacing in MLA. All right. This should disappear. All of this should be 0, 0. Left alignment's great. This is what you want. These are the settings that you want. So go ahead and click OK. Now MLA asks for 1-inch margins, which Microsoft Word should default to. So you should already have 1-inch margins set up. Now you will need to insert page numbers in a certain way. So talk about how to do that. Now the Microsoft Word 360 makes page numbers, any sort of header or footer, look different than it does on the desktop app, and I kind of hate what it does. But anyway, go over to the Insert tab. You're going to be inserting page numbers, and you want to insert them in the top left corner. Or am I on the left? Right. Sorry, guys. The top right corner. Woo! Let me say these things correctly. So right over here at the top right corner, click on that. And it's going to pull it up like this, and it says, we'll add page numbers here. So you need to type your last name in here, all right? And this drives me crazy too. You don't need to fix this, but I do. I need to fix this. Got to change that. It defaults back to Calibri. I hate that. So I'm changing it to my beloved Times New Roman 12-point font, okay? Anyway, so it says they will insert the page numbers, they'll do the header, but as soon as you click outside of this header, it disappears. You can't see it on the screen anymore. And I hate that. It's super, super annoying, but you can rest assured it's there and it will show up for me and I will be able to see that you've done your page numbers correctly. But why it doesn't show it on the screen, I just don't know. I don't understand. There's other things that bother me about Microsoft 360, but okay. Those are the formatting things. Now let's talk about how to actually set up the page. You need to have a header. Okay, and this is what the header needs to look like. First line, left align, needs to be your name. For goodness, guys, it went back to Calibri. Oh, okay, I have to fix it because this is just my preference. There we go. Good. Okay, so first you type your name. Second line is going to be my name, the instructor name. So I'm just going to go ahead and put Mrs. Tanner down. Third line is going to be English 101, your course title, okay? And then the fourth line is going to be the date, and MLA requires you to do the date a little bit different than you'll see it anywhere else. So your paper is due on the 18th. You do the number first, then you do the month, and you spell out the entire name of the month, and then you do the year, like that, okay? Then you come down one more line. You don't come down you don't hit enter twice. It's just one line down. In the center, you do a creative title for your paper. Give me a good creative title for your paper, okay? Something a lot better than Unit 1 paper, right? Don't do that. Do something nice and creative. All right, one space down, okay, not two, just one space down, no any extra spaces in here. Come back over to left align, hit tab, and then start typing your brilliant essay here, just like this, right? You'll type for 750 words at least of stuff. And now let's take a second to talk about citations. Not all of you will use citations in this paper. However, if you are using any sort of social media post or any sort of book or any sort of text in a published space, honestly, that might even count. Essays or anything where you can quote from it and there's a page number, anything like that. You do need to cite it as a source, meaning you need to have parenthetical in-text citations. So here's a quote from my college entrance exam that you've decided to talk about. MLA has some fun rules about citing. No end punctuation there, just do your quote mark, do a parenthetical, do your last name because you're the author, page number that your quote came from, end it, and then you do your period. So you have that in-text citation. What you are also going to need then, if you cite in this paper, if you have sources like that, you're going to need to have a works cited page. So when you get to the end of your text, what you need to do is go to the next page. Now, this is where we get into Microsoft 360 being super annoying, because on the normal Microsoft Word app or any other, Word document place, usually you can just hit enter, 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 enter down to the next page. But Microsoft Word 360 Online doesn't do that. It does this funky thing. And if you start typing, like it may even get rid of that. So it's like hard to know when you're actually on the next page. So what I recommend, here's what I recommend for you. This has been a major issue for my students in the past. When you get to the end of your typing, which will obviously be further along in here, go ahead and insert a page break so that you know you've made it to a new page. So insert a page break. And again, their page breaks look like that. It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Just know that you are now on the next page. And this is what a works cited page needs to look like. You come back here to the center. You type works cited, just like that. One enter down, not any other extra spaces. Come back over here, and then you're going to do your citation. Start writing your citation. Now, how do you do your citation? If it's a social media post, you're probably going to have to come back over here to our Purdue OWL site and look up how to do how to cite an Instagram post or how to cite a tweet, because MLA has rules for how to cite those things, so you can look it up. Standard, I'm just going to pretend that I'm citing a book. We'll just pretend. A book that I wrote, which doesn't exist, but here we go. Sort of a standard thing is that you do last name, your last name, because you're the author. Likely you're the author. Period. Books are always italicized. Articles or shorter things are going to be in quote marks. All of these rules are over there if you need to look them up, okay? Then I'm going to have publisher and date and maybe a few other things depending on what kind of source it is, period. Good, there's my citation. Important thing to note, if your citation runs really, really long, if you have, I'm just going to type some gibberish stuff here to pretend that look at that, my citation has run onto a second line. You need to format this correctly, okay? With a hanging indent. And I'll show you how to do that. Come back, highlight your citation, come back up here to paragraph, and you want a hanging. You want a hanging indent. Okay? And it's going to format it just like that. Beautiful. That's exactly how you do multiple lines of a citation in MLA. Obviously, you're not going to have gibberish, though. Okay. And that's if it goes onto a second line. Okay, that was really fast. That was really quick. We didn't get into very many details at all about how to actually do citations, but hopefully that gave you enough information to know how to do basic general setup and formatting that I'm expecting to see in your final paper, okay? All right. Good luck with that.